No one expected it to happen, not in front of cameras, and definitely not between two women who once called each other sisters. At what was supposed to be a cozy night celebrating books and friendship, Reese Witherspoon and Oprah Winfrey ended up at the center of a live confrontation that's now being called the most uncomfortable moment in daytime TV history. It started with laughter, but by the end of the night, the audience was silent, the cameras kept rolling, and the internet was on fire. What could possibly turn America's sweetheart against America's most powerful talk show host? Insiders say the argument wasn't just about books, it was about royalty. And not Hollywood royalty, but the real kind. Because deep underneath this so-called book club blow-up lies something much bigger, a hidden feud over Princess Kate, Meghan Markle, and one explosive interview that changed everything. And when Reese decided to speak up, what she said to Oprah left the entire room frozen. But that wasn't even the shocking part. It's what happened after that has everyone asking, did Reese Witherspoon just do what no one in Hollywood ever dared to do? Stand up to Oprah? It all began at what should have been one of the most uplifting nights of the year, the Super Soul Book Summit in New York City. Hosted by Oprah Winfrey, the event brought together some of the biggest names in entertainment to talk about friendship, empowerment, and storytelling. But one pairing instantly stole the spotlight. Oprah and Reese Witherspoon, two women whose bond was once described as unbreakable. They've worked together for years, from A Wrinkle in Time to multiple interviews celebrating women in Hollywood. On stage, they laughed, they hugged, and the audience adored them. Everything seemed perfect, until it wasn't. As the evening went on, the tone shifted. What started as cheerful conversation about books turned into a tense exchange that left even the moderators unsure of what to do. You could feel it. The energy in the room changed. Reese's smile faded, Oprah leaned back in her chair, and the audience started whispering. Cameras caught every flicker of discomfort. Because behind the friendly laughs and polite applause, something deeper was brewing. An invisible line neither woman wanted to cross, but both refused to back away from. And it all centered around one topic that's divided not just Hollywood, but the entire world: the royal family. Long before the drama of that night, Reese Witherspoon had already made her royal loyalties clear, and they weren't with Meghan Markle. Her admiration for Princess Kate Middleton goes back more than a decade, to the moment they met during the Duchess's first official visit to Los Angeles in 2011. Reese later confessed that when she got the invitation, she screamed like a little kid. She couldn't believe she was going to meet real-life royalty. But that meeting turned into something deeper. Friends say Reese was instantly moved by Kate's warmth, grace, and quiet strength, traits she later called rare in a world that rewards loudness. The two reportedly stayed in touch through charity circles and women's empowerment initiatives, often exchanging handwritten notes, a royal touch that Reese never forgot. Over the years, Reese publicly defended Kate whenever the media turned cruel. When British tabloids mocked the princess's outfits or speculated about her personal life, Reese subtly clapped back, reminding fans that dignity isn't weakness, it's class. And when rumors about Kate's health started swirling earlier this year, Reese was one of the few celebrities who reposted supportive messages without adding hashtags or drama, just a simple heart emoji and the words, "Thinking of you." So when Oprah brought up Meghan Markle on that New York stage, praising her courage during her royal struggles, something in Reese visibly shifted. Because to her, this wasn't just a conversation about another public figure. This was personal. It was about loyalty, about fairness, and about a friend who'd spent years being quietly torn apart by the same system that had once praised Meghan. And that's when things started to spiral. For Oprah, the story couldn't have been more different. She spent decades using her platform to give people a voice, to tell stories that others were too afraid to touch. So when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle reached out for that now infamous 2021 interview, Oprah saw it not as gossip, but as a mission, a chance to reveal the truth, to expose what she believed was a silent pain hiding behind palace walls.
The world watched as Meghan shared shocking details about her time inside the royal family. The interview dominated global headlines, split public opinion, and for many, forever changed how they viewed the monarchy. To Oprah, it was about compassion. She believed she was giving Meghan and Harry a chance to be heard after being silenced. It fit perfectly into her legacy of empathy and empowerment.
But not everyone saw it that way. Critics accused the interview of being one-sided, of tearing down a centuries-old institution for the sake of ratings. And in the middle of that cultural storm, one name kept resurfacing: Princess Kate. Because while Meghan's story was celebrated, Kate's silence was painted as guilt. To many, including Reese Witherspoon, it felt unfair. And that's where the fracture began. Reese respected Oprah deeply. She saw her as a mentor, even a role model. But when it came to this, she couldn't agree. Behind the smiles, sources say Reese believed Oprah had crossed a line, turning empathy into spectacle and controversy into currency. So on that stage, when Oprah once again praised Meghan's courage to speak her truth, Reese couldn't stay quiet anymore. Her expression said it all. Calm, collected, but with a fire behind her eyes. The moment was coming. And when it did, it changed everything. It happened fast, so fast that even the audience didn't realize what was unfolding until the room fell silent. Oprah had just finished praising Meghan Markle's bravery and unfiltered honesty. The crowd clapped politely, but beside her, Reese Witherspoon wasn't smiling anymore. She leaned forward, crossed her legs, and then, with a calm voice that carried through the hall, said something no one expected. "Oprah," she began, "sometimes courage also means staying quiet when the world's trying to pull you apart." You could have heard a pin drop. Oprah blinked, caught off guard. The camera zoomed in. For a brief moment, the two women, icons of American television, just stared at each other. The moderator tried to move on, but Reese wasn't done. She spoke about accountability, about how the media plays favorites, about how truth shouldn't come at the cost of tearing others down. It wasn't an attack, it was conviction. Calm, sharp, unmistakably Southern in its grace, but icy in delivery. Oprah, to her credit, didn't raise her voice. She simply said, "Sometimes silence is the luxury of the privileged." That line sent a chill through the audience. Gasps, awkward laughter, nervous glances. Even Jenna Bush Hager, who was sitting just a few seats away, tried to diffuse the tension with a light joke, but it didn't land. The conversation went off script. Every sentence carried a double meaning. Every smile looked forced. Reese defended fairness, Oprah defended truth, and the whole thing played out live in front of hundreds, and later millions. By the time they wrapped the segment, neither woman made eye contact again. They thanked each other, smiled for photos, and walked off in opposite directions. But within minutes, clips of that exchange started flooding social media. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, everywhere. And the internet had already chosen sides. As the dust began to settle, something deeper started to unfold. This wasn't just a celebrity spat anymore. It became a global debate about what empowerment really means and where accountability begins. On one side, fans rallied behind Oprah, defending her as a lifelong champion of women's voices. One post read, "Oprah gave Meghan the space to speak when no one else would. She's earned the right to tell difficult truths even if they make people uncomfortable." To many, Oprah remained the gold standard of empathy and courage, the woman who built her empire by helping others tell their stories without shame. Her supporters called the confrontation a painful misunderstanding between two women who both mean well. But across the aisle, a growing wave of voices began to echo Reese's message, that empowerment shouldn't come at another woman's expense. "Speaking your truth is powerful," one viral tweet said, "but not if it silences someone else's." For these fans, Reese's onstage challenge wasn't an attack, it was a stand for fairness, for balance, for protecting women like Catherine who choose quiet strength over public spectacle. Feminist forums lit up with think pieces. Was Reese policing another woman's voice, or was she restoring integrity to storytelling? Was Oprah uplifting pain, or profiting from it? The answers weren't simple,
Because for millions watching, both women represented something they deeply believed in. Oprah stood for the power to speak, Reese stood for the responsibility to protect. And somewhere between those two truths, empowerment and accountability, the public realized this wasn't just about Reese and Oprah anymore. It was about all of us, how we tell stories, whose pain we amplify, and who we leave in the shadows. As one commentator put it perfectly on CNN that week, it's not just a feud, it's a cultural mirror. Reese and Oprah are forcing Hollywood and all of us to choose what kind of empathy we really believe in. While the internet blazed with hot takes and hashtags, behind the cameras, a quieter and far more revealing story was unfolding. Backstage at the Ford Foundation's Grand Hall, the air was thick, not with anger, but with shock. Reese stood still for a moment, clutching her notes, her trademark composure masking the adrenaline rushing through her veins. Oprah, ever the professional, smiled for the cameras, but those who know her best could read it, the tension behind the warmth. Minutes later, as attendees whispered and PR teams scrambled, a single photo surfaced. Reese and Oprah sharing a brief hug before leaving the stage. Publicly, it looked like reconciliation. Privately, insiders say it was anything but. One producer told Page Six, that hug was pure Hollywood. Polite, posed, but ice cold underneath. Within hours, cryptic social media posts began to drop. Reese's Hello Sunshine account shared a quote from poet Ada Limon, "Some bridges are meant to burn if it means light on the other side." Fans flooded the comments. "Fire, that's for Oprah." Meanwhile, Oprah's book club Instagram posted just as pointed, a quote from Amy Griffin's novel itself. "Empathy means listening, even when the story isn't yours to tell." It was graceful, but the subtext hit like a thunderclap. Then came the texts and whispers. One close friend of Reese told The Telegraph she got a message from someone in Kensington Palace. Just 2 words, "Thank you." If true, that tiny gesture said everything. While Catherine remained silent in public, it was clear the royal camp was quietly grateful. On Oprah's side, her longtime confidant Gayle King reportedly reached out immediately. A CBS insider claims Gayle's words were simple but telling. "You stood in truth. Don't let the noise drown that out." And then, the most intriguing twist of all. The morning after the confrontation, Reese's assistant was seen leaving the Carlisle Hotel, where, coincidentally, a private team from Kensington's media office had checked in the same day. Coincidence? Maybe, but royal watchers on Reddit had a field day with that one. In the following days, both camps went quiet, strategic silence, as one PR expert described it. No press statements, no apologies, just coded messages, reposted quotes, and subtle likes. It wasn't war. It was the calm chess match of powerful women guarding their legacies. Each move intentional, each word weighted. As one insider summed it up best, they both knew the real story wasn't on stage. It was in the silence that followed. If you thought the confrontation itself was explosive, Hollywood's reaction was the real aftershock. Within hours, group chats across Los Angeles were on fire. Publicists, producers, and A-listers were scrambling to pick sides, or more accurately, to avoid picking one. At first, it seemed like Reese had the momentum. Celebrities known for their quiet admiration of Princess Kate subtly rallied behind her. Jennifer Garner liked Reese's Burning Bridges post, while Nicole Kidman, Reese's longtime co-star, shared a story captioned, "Grace under pressure always wins." The message, crystal clear. But Oprah wasn't without her defenders. Her inner circle, Gayle King, Ava DuVernay, and Tyler Perry, closed ranks instantly. Tyler posted on X, "Truth-telling women don't owe anyone silence," and it racked up 500,000 likes within hours. Entertainment journalists called it a cultural earthquake. For years, both Reese and Oprah have been viewed as untouchable, America's golden storytellers. But this was different. It was Hollywood versus itself. Behind the scenes, studios began to hold their breath. A Netflix exec reportedly paused negotiations for a joint Oprah-Reese production deal, citing brand clarity concerns. In other words, they didn't want to risk alienating either fan base. Meanwhile, the media had a field day. Vanity Fair ran the headline, empowerment or entitlement, the confrontation that split Hollywood. TMZ called it the New Royal Rift California edition. Talk shows couldn't get enough. The View, Jimmy Kimmel, and even BBC's The One Show debated whether Reese's words on stage were brave or disrespectful. Clips went viral, sparking hashtag Team Reese and hashtag Team Oprah that dominated Twitter for 3 straight days. And then came the ultimate power move: silence from both women. No interviews, no press, just the calm hum of a PR storm being carefully managed behind the closed doors.